Today I'm out at Lone Star Lakes. What you see behind me here, a whole lot of loblolly pine regeneration with, although it's not leafed out yet, quite a bit of hardwood mixed in there. But let's take a closer look. Mixed in with this loblolly regeneration is a planted longleaf pine. How did this get here? Well, about 10 or 12 years ago, the park, the City of Suffolk and the Park and Recreation folks wanted to do a longleaf pine restoration. So they got an agreement with the Virginia Department of Forestry and got native longleaf seedlings and planted them in this site. This site's about 10 acres or so. Most of the videos that I shoot and put on here are of prescribed burns we've done or reviews of past burns. This site may have been burned once since it's been planted. The City of Suffolk does not have the capacity to do a burn out here, so they're pretty much relying on Department of Forestry or another agency to do it, and that can be a bit of a problem because once you do you embark on a project like this, you have to think out in terms of years and what it's going to take to maintain a site like this. Considering this site has not been maintained with fire or anything really, the trees that were planted are doing remarkably well. You look out there, and mixed into the loblolly regen are quite a few fairly large longleaf. In a few years, probably some of these trees are going to start producing cones. So I mean, this is really a good looking site. It just needs some fire put in it. So what explains that? Well, as you can see, there's this was an open field that was planted, gets full sun, and at the time there was no relatively little competition growing up amongst the plantings. So that was that's the ideal situation to get a restoration project like this going. The problem is again that once you start it, you have to continue, and continue in longleaf means you have to burn it eventually, or what you see out here is what you'll get. If you don't burn these sites, this is what they will turn into eventually. The loblolly will seed itself in, the hardwood will seed itself in, and while it may not completely overtop the longleaf that you've planted, it will turn it into this green mess behind me. And when you get this kind of growth in here, even if the longleafs survive and shoot up above or equal to the rest of the cover, if they produce cones, the cones aren't gonna. There's not going to be any regeneration because there's no place for the seeds to germinate underneath all this mess. This is another site out here at Lone Star Lakes. This little field here, an acre or so, doesn't look like much underneath it, but again, let's take a closer look. And if we walk out here in the middle of this, underneath it all, you'll see that this area has also been planted in longleaf pine. Now, this area was planted much more recently. Obviously, these trees are still in grass stage. This is a site that is not overgrown like the last one, but it certainly will be without fire. We're up on these high sandbanks around the Nansemond River. These areas historically, colonial times and prior, were longleaf, at least partially. So if you look at the map of the park here, this is the south end. You'll see a couple places on here. One that says Longleaf Pine Enhancement. That's the site that we were looking at that was planted and is now overgrown. And where we are now is down here at the intersection, at the lower part of there's this acre, maybe 2 acres of longleaf planted in here. This high sandy ground supported longleaf back 100, 200, 300 years ago and more. These sites are really are kind of more demonstration in a public setting than they are restoration, and hopefully this area will get burned. Probably not this year. We're running out of days to do it before these trees start to shoot up a little bit. But at the very least, this needs burned within the next year to reduce the competition and to get these trees to really bolt.